We will start with the basics and so let's start with the basics like what is Python? Why Python exists? So Python is a programming language. What is programming language? Programming language is a way to talk to computer. We give instruction and computer follows them. Anything we write like our code we are writing, these are the instruction and computer follows them. Why follows them? Because that code is basically a programming language. And if I tell you so Python can't understand programming language. Like sorry, like you know computer does not understand programming language. Okay. Computer does not understand programming language. So you can understand like this. They understand binary like 0 and 1. They understand binary 0 and 1. If I tell you like when we install Python in our computer, then there is a interpreter also installed automatically. An interpreter is a software which present in a hard disk, and interpreter works in RAM. Interpreter works in RAM, and whenever we you know see or you can say interpreter basically reads your code in a hard disk, because in hard disk we have a .py file. So interpreter reads your code, and then it converts your code into bytecode. When it comes in a RAM, it converts your code into bytecode. Then it converted to bytecode. After that we have Python virtual machine. Python virtual machine convert your code, which is bytecode, into a binary, and a binary is the final you know conversion. Like now that binary code can understand where the CPU only understands 0 and 1. So you can say whenever we write a code, so these steps always happens. So let's start. Like what is Python? Python is a programming language, and programming language is a way to talk to computer. We give instruction and computer follows them. Why Python? Because Python is easy to read, looks like book, used in websites, apps, data science, AI automation. That's a beginner friendly also. Python based application we have web development, Django, Flask, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analysis, games, automation, automated tasks, desktop application, environment setup. If I tell you, environment setup for the your Python. So if I tell you, so an environment is a place where you write or you can say run your Python code on your computer. So you have to create the environment for writing a code, which is Python code. You have to create a environment, or you have to create a notebook for that. In notebook, you write your Python code. Uh, an environment is a place where Python runs on your computer, and you go to website which is python.org, download Python, run installer, import, check, add part to Python, click install, check installation. If you have installed Python, then you can check the Python like it is installed or not. So you can go command prompt or terminal. There you can write like Python // version. Then you will see version. If you are able to see version, it means your Python has been installed. Congratulations. So what are the IDs? What are the IDs what are the IDs you have to follow. Like IDs is kind of a notebook you can understand. IDs are the kind of a notebook that you have to take and you can write your code there. So you have a IDs like integrated development environment. Integrated development environment. Integrated development environment. It is a tool where you write and run code. It is a kind of a tool where you write and run code. So it is a tool where you write and run code. It's a kind of a notebook. Like you have a notebook, your book, your copy. Okay, in your copy you write your concepts, you solve problems. So here same you will download first your ID. Like I have used VS Code, so you have to download a VS Code and then you can write your code there. You can solve the problems there related to mathematics or basically which comes in a Python language. You can do every operations on your IDE, which is integrated development environment. Okay, so we have a VS Code best for beginners and professionals. I have used VS Code, so that's basically best for beginners and professionals. So first you have to create file, then Python extension is .py. So you can give a file name with the .py, and then you can run the module by save as hello.py, click run module. Then your first program, what will be your first program in your Python language? So in Python language, your first program we always print hello world or hello Python. So print shows output on the screen. Print what does print is a function. Print is a function and it shows output on the screen, and that output programmers programmers can read easily. So print is a function that shows output on the screen, and hello Python is a text called a string. What is a variable? Variable is a kind of a container that holds data inside a variable. Inside, like a variable is a container that holds some data. It can be integer, it can be float, it can be string, it can be list, it can be tuple, it can be dictionary. So a variable, a variable is a kind of a container that holds data, that stores data to store data. So we have a variable age. Age is a variable, and age is a variable, and you can see in a age we are storing some values, and that value 25 is a integer, and age is a variable name and 25 is a value. And what are the data types? Data type basically you can understand like this, that what type of value you are storing in a variable. Okay, what kind of a value you have stored in a variable? So data types, we have lots of data types. Like common data types, if I tell you, so these are the integers and these are the whole numbers, like starting from the zero, and then we have a float. These are the decimal numbers, and then we have a string. These are the text. Then we have a list, dictionary. Dictionary basically are the data is in the dictionary. Data is stored as a key value pair, and in the list we have a multiple elements. So you can print the values of your variable, and also you can find the type by using the type function. By using type function, you can know the data type of, you can know the type of your data which you have stored in a variable. By using type function, you can Type function basically tells the Python that what data type a value is. Data structure. Data structure stores multiple values together. Data structure means stores multiple values together. And we have a data structure like list, tuple, dictionary, set. These are the data structure and they have a capability to store multiple values together. You can store string, integer, anything you can store there. So list is a order correction and dictionary is a key value data. Operations you can also perform on the data structure. Operations you can perform Operations you can perform on data structure. List operation example, sum of list. You can sum maximum value. You can find a maximum value which you like. You can find a maximum value which you have stored in a variable. If you have a variable and you have stored multiple values in a variable, then you can pick the maximum number. You can take the maximum number from that list. You can take the minimum number from this variable. From that list you can find the maximum and minimum number. If you want the sum, you can use the sum. You can perform the operation on a list. You can write the sum and you can find the sum of your list. Sum means adds all the numbers. Max means largest value. Min means smallest value. Then we will understand what is input. We will understand what is input. We will understand what is input. Input basically means taking the data from the user. Output means showing the data to the user. User input program. Input, enter your name. Then you have to means it is taking the input from the user, and output means showing the data to the user. Input function takes input from the user, always returns a string. Variable scope tells where a variable can be used in a program. Where a variable can be used in a where a variable can be used in a program. Variable created inside a program can be used below their definition. So we will understand in an easy way variable scope. So what is a variable scope? Variable scope means where you can use your variable or action in a program. Variable scope means where a variable can be used or accessed, where a variable can be accessed or used in a program. Variable scope, this is a variable scope that where a variable can be used or accessed in a program. So we have two types of variable scope. One is local, second one is global. Global means you can create your global variable outside the function and you can use anywhere in your program. Talking about local, talking about local variable, you can only create inside a function and you can create only inside one function your local variable. And if you have a same name of global variable and local variable, then the first priority will get local variable will get the first priority when we call the function. So global variable is created outside any function and can be used anywhere in a program. This is our global variable x. Then can be used anywhere in the program. Then X is inside and outside the function. You can see we have X inside and outside the function. X is inside and outside the function. X is inside and outside the function. X works inside and outside the function. Local scope means a local variable is created inside a function. A local variable is created inside a function. It works only inside that function. Works everywhere. Works only inside function. Can be used by all function. When you are talking about global variable, then that global variable can be used by all function. But that global, but that local variable can be only used by that only one function. Okay, so using global variable, you can read a global variable inside a function. Using global variable, you can read global variable inside a function. You can use a local variable inside a function. Okay. You can use global variable inside a function. You can read a global variable inside a function. When you are reading a global variable inside a function, then you can see changing global variable inside a function. Changing global variable. You can change the global variable by using the what? By using the global keyword. You can use a global variable. You can change the global variable inside a function. If you want to change the global variable inside a function, then you have to use the global variable keyword. You have to use global keyword. So to change a global variable, if you want to if you want to if you want to don't like see the effect of the global variable inside a function, you don't want to see like it can defeat me or it can diminish me, so you can use the global keyword uh, to change a global variable inside a function. Use global keyword. So you can use a global x, then it will does not this global variable does not show its effect now because we have used a global x. To change a global variable inside a function, use a global keyword. When you will call the function, then it will show you what? It will show you nothing. Why? Because we have what? We have ignored this now. When we call print text, then we will get x. Important note: without global variable function creates a new local variable. So what happens if a local and global variable have the same name? Local variable gets the variability inside the function. Like we have this, and this we will call the test, then we will get this, which comes inside the function. This will get the first variability and it will show you as an output on the screen Variable scope defines where a variable can be accessed in a program. Variable scope defines where a variable can be accessed in a program. Variable scope defines where a variable can be accessed in a program. Module is a Python file that contains function or code. Module is a Python file that contains function or code. Math it's a module and main.py program that uses the module. We have a lab here, so def define function repeat step. It basically repeats a step and then send value back, return when send it basically sends a value back. Use the module in another file by using the import keyword. You can use the module in another file. You can import that file by writing the file name. You can take the all powers of that module inside the another file of the Python. You are just extracting the all the powers. So create win.py, import materials, num this, then factorial of number 5 is math utils dot factorial num. Import keyword is used to use another Python file. Is used to use another Python file. Python is a program. Python is a high-level programming language. Python is a high-level programming language. Why high-level programming language? Because it is a very simple language. High-level language is a language that human can understand easily. Python uses simple English words. Key features of Python: easy to read and write, free and open source, portable, runs on Windows, Linux, Mac, large community support, used in many technologies. Overview of Python-based application. Python is used in many real-world applications. Web development. Python is used to build websites and web applications. Django, Flask, data science and AI. Python is used to analyze data and create intelligent system automation. Python can automate daily tasks like file handling, sending emails, web scraping, game development. Python is used for making simple games. Environment setup. And environment is a setup required to run your Python code, required to run Python program. Download Python from python.org. Start Python set Python part. Verify installation. IDE is a software that helps programmers to write their code. We have some of the IDEs like VS Code, Python. So IDE tells us to like write the code, run the code, debug errors. Writing and running first Python program. Program is a kind of an instruction that we give to the computer. It's a set of instruction given to a computer. Program is a set of instruction because it have if we are writing one line of code then it is not called as a program. If you are like doing something with your code, there is something is happening, it means that's a program. We are doing calculation, multiplication, finding the factorial, this kinds of thing you are doing this, it means you are writing a program. You by the programmer. Programmers who are programmers. Programmers are those who can write code and understand the code. So they are the programmers. Memory location and stores the data. Variable name ruling must start with a letter or underscore. Cannot start with a number. Cannot use keyword. Okay. Cannot use keyword. Data type defines the type of data you have stored in a variable. A data type defines the type of data stored in a variable. Common Python data types. A data type defines the type of data stored in a variable. Common data type we have a int, float, string, list. Int are the whole numbers, float are the decimal number, string are the text, list are like collection. These are collection of the multiple atoms, multiple elements. Dictionary means key value pairs, and typecasting like converting one data type into another. Variable scope like variable scope like means where a variable can be accessed or used in a program. Like we have two types of variable scope as we have already discussed, global and local. So global variable is created outside the program, and you can use that variable, that global variable anywhere in the program. And talking about the local variable, you have to create a local variable inside the function, and it can be used only inside that function. And that global that local variable can be accessed by the only that function. And a global variable can be used by all the functions. Data structure is a way to store multiple values together in one place. Instead of many variables, we use one structure. Types of data structure, we have a list of a dictionary set. List, what is a list? List is a collection of items stored in order. Lists are changeable, we can add or remove items. Lists are changeable. What is the like how you can identify, how you will able to know that that's a list? So we have some techniques for understanding that this is a list or what is a table or set. So first you have, like you can notice that written using square bracket, can store different data types, allow duplicate values. Order is maintained, order is maintained, mutable. Okay, it can change. You can see this is our list and these are the indexes. What is a tuple? Tuple is like a list. Tuple is like a list, but it cannot be changed. Tuple is like a list. Tuple is like a list, but it cannot be changed. Once you create it, you cannot add or remove the items from the tuple. Keywords, key points you can understand that is a tuple or what. So written using round brackets, order is maintained, allow duplicate values, immutable, not changeable, faster than list. Tuple, this is a tuple, and you can see tuple has some kinds of a color, red, green, blue. What is dictionary? A dictionary stores a data. Dictionary stores data in key value pairs. Used when data has a meaningful name. Used when data has a meaningful name. Student name is and key points written using curly brackets. Data stored as key value. You cannot repeat the key. You have to take the key. Key must be unique. Key must be unique. Key must be unique. Value can be changed. No fixed order. They does not have a fixed order. They does not have a fixed order. Uh, you have to understand that key must be unique value, and the value can be changed, but key must be unique. So, what is a set? Set is a collection of unique. Okay, let's start with the basics, like how you can get the your. So, asset is a collection of unique values. Asset is a collection of unique values. It does not allow duplicate values. It does not allow duplicate values. It does not allow duplicate values. Set is a collection of unique values. It does not allow duplicate values. Key points using curly brackets, no duplicate values. Order is not maintained. Used for removing duplicate. Used for removing duplicates. We have a diagram here. You can compare all the things here. List is a ordered changeable duplicate and it's a duplicate. Yes, it allows duplicate values. It's about duplicate values because it loves duplicate and it can change. It's a very simple boy. You can understand innocent boy. It can easily change and it has a ordered bracket. It has a square bracket. Tuple have a you can say curly bracket and then we have a dictionary and then this curly brackets. These are the curly brackets. These are curly bracket and we have parentheses. List order and changeable collection order what a changeable collection order what changeable collection key value data structure order collection of unique items. Operation on data structure. Operations include what? You can apply some operation on the data structure. Like operation include adding elements, removing elements, searching elements, updating elements. You can apply some operation on the data structure, and these operations are like you can add the element, you can remove the element, you can update the element. Number dot when input means getting the data from the user. Output means showing the or displaying the data to the user using print function and taking the data from the user using input function. A function is a block of code. A function is a block of reusable 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 code. A function is a block of a function. A function is a block of reusable code. A function is a block of reusable code. Example: add return a plus b. Module is a file containing Python. A module is a file containing Python code. Import a module. Importing a module. Import mat utils. Lab exercise factorial module. Factorial is what? Factorial of a number is defined like this. Take the positive, like you can understand like this. Factorial of a number is the product of all the positive numbers up to that number. Is the product of all the positive numbers up to that number. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Python is a programming language, variable container to store data, data types, types of data, list, group of items, dictionary, key value data, function reusable block of code, module, Python file, tool to write code, user provided data, output displaying data, area where variable works, a programming language, container to store data, the types of data, group items, key value data, function usual block of code, module, Python file, ID, tool to write code input, user provided data, output means displayed data, scope means where a variable can be accessed or used in a program. Is Python case sensitive? Yes. Python trees upper and lower letters are different. Python trees uppercase and lowercase letters as different. Python treats uppercase and lowercase letters as different. Name and name are two different variables. What happens if we don't declare data types? In Python, we do not need to declare data types. Python automatically detects the data type at runtime. In Python, we do not need to declare the data type. Python automatically detects the data type at runtime. This is called dynamic typing. This is called dynamic typing is what Python detects the data type automatically at a runtime. What is the extension of Python file? What is the extension of Python file? In a Python language, Python file always saved as a .py. Okay, .py. What is indentation in a Python? Indentation like giving the space. Indentation means space at the beginning of a line. Indentation means space at the beginning of a line. You can give when you are using if and else statement or you know using function, creating function and dictionary, then you can see there when you write a function after that you get some space. So this is actually what indentation means. Indentation means spaces at the beginning of a line. At the beginning of a line, Python uses indentation due to define code blocks. Python uses indentation to define code blocks. Python uses indentation to define code blocks. Without proper indentation, Python gives an error. Without without proper indentation, Python gives an error. You can understand that without proper indentation, Python gives an error. So that's not good for our programming languages. So Python reads the code line by line. It checks the code line by line. Code it reads the code from the up to down line by line. First it reads one line first, then in the second step it reads the second line. In the third step it reads the third line. And internally interpreter is converting your byte code you know into binary code. So you can see in every line interpreter is converting the code into white code, then white code is converted into a binary code by the interpreter. कोड ऊपर से नीचे रीड होता है, हर लाइन एग्जीक्यूट रन होती है, पाइथन जहाँ भी एरर आता है वहीं प्रोग्राम रुक जाता है, उससे पहले वाली लाइन सारी रन हो जाती हैं, अगर सही है तो एरर के बाद वाली लाइन रन नहीं होती है। यहाँ पे दो लाइन तक सही था, पेरेंट हुआ हेलो 5, फिर यहाँ पर एरर है क्योंकि ये हो ही नहीं सकता, एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता कि आप 0 से डिवाइड कर रहे हैं 10 को, तो यहाँ एरर आ गया तो फिर वाई प्रिंट ही नहीं हुआ जो कि सही था। क्यों? क्योंकि लाइन बाय लाइन काम करता है, जहाँ भी गलत हो वहीं पर प्रोग्राम स्टॉप हो जाएगा आप प्रोग्राम के पहले वाली जो जहाँ जिस भी लाइन में गलती होगी वहाँ पर स्टॉप हो जाएगा, और उसको पहले वाली लाइन जो होंगी वो अगर सही है तो वो भी क्या हो जाएंगे, रन हो जाएंगी, और फिर उसका आ जाएगा। अगर जहाँ भी एरर आएगा वहाँ रुक जाएगा, और उसके बाद वाली लाइन रन नहीं होंगी। अगर वो सही है फिर भी in a language like C पहले पूरा कोड चेक होता है। इस प्रोसेस को कंपाइल कहते हैं। अगर एक भी एरर मिला बटन रन ही नहीं हो करेगा। अगर एक भी एरर मिला बटन रन ही नहीं करेगा। जो लाइन बिल्कुल सही है वो भी एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होंगी, सिर्फ एरर मैसेज रहेगा। ये होता है सी प्रोग्राम में। जबकि कंपाइल्ड लैंग्वेज होती है सी प्रोग्राम, पहले पूरा कोड चेक होता है। इस प्रोसेस को कंपाइल कहते हैं। अगर एक भी एरर मिला पाइथन रन ही नहीं होगा, प्रोग्राम रन ही नहीं होगा, और जो बिल्कुल भी सही है वो भी एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होंगे। इंटरप्रेटेड किताब पढ़ना, लाइन पढ़ते जाओ, गलती आई वहीं रुक जाओ, पहले वाली लाइन पढ़ चुके हो। पूरा पेपर पहले चेक करो, एक भी बड़ी गलती फेल चाहे कुछ आंसर आ जाए। Yes, in interpreted languages, yes, in interpreted language like Python and like Python and Python, code is executed a line by line, stopped at a line where error occurs. But in compiled languages, the whole code is checked first, and if any error exists, the program does not run at all. What type of language is Python? Interpreted high language, dynamically typed language. Interpreted high language, high level language. Interpreted interpreted high level and dynamically typed language. Interpreted language code is executed line by line without compiling. Code is executed line by line without compiling. Interpreted language code is executed line by line without compiling. Interpreted language executes code line by line so the program runs until an error occurs. Whereas compiled languages check the entire code first and stop execution if any error is found. जो लैंग्वेज लाइन बाय लाइन कोड रन करे और इधर और तुरंत सीख जाए, दी ज़्यादा इंटरप्रेटेड लैंग्वेज कहते हैं, उन्हें इंटरप्रेटेड लैंग्वेज कहते हैं। कंप्यूटर सिर्फ क्या समझता है, कंप्यूटर सिर्फ बाइनरी समझता है, जीरो और वन। कंप्यूटर पाइथन, इंग्लिश, हिंदी कुछ भी डायरेक्टली नहीं समझता है। Computer does not understand directly Python, English, or Java. They understand, they only understand the binary. So when interpreter converts our like source code into the bytecode, then Python virtual machine converts bytecode into binary, and then when it converts into binary, then binary is understand by the CPU. So now CPU understand binary, so you can say Python language is not understand by the computer. They understand only binary. So interpreter is doing all the things that our language can, that our CPU, that our computer can understand easily what is happening. जो हम लैंग्वेज लिखते हैं कंप्यूटर के लिए ये समझने लायक नहीं है, इसमें पैसा नहीं खर्च हो रहा है जिसे कहते हैं। वैसे इंटरप्रेटर क्या करता है, वैसे कोड पढ़ता है, उसको बाइनरी मशीन लैंग्वेज में बदलता है, कंप्यूटर को देता है, कंप्यूटर उससे एग्जीक्यूट करता है। तो बाइनरी में कब कब चेंज होता है, जब लाइन एग्जीक्यूट होती है तब। पूरा कोड के साथ बाइनरी में कन्वर्ट नहीं करता, लाइन बाय लाइन करता है। पाइथन कोड लिखा तो पाइथन कोड इंटरप्रेटर क्या करेगा, इंटरप्रेटर जाएगा सोर्स कोड में और वो देखेगा, रीड करेगा, उसको कन्वर्ट करेगा, किसमें देखेगा, और वो देख तो लेगा, वो काम कहाँ करेगा, अपना इफेक्ट कहाँ दिखाएगा, और उसको जो चेंज करना है उसको वाइट कोड वो अपना चेंज कर पाएगा, रैम में ही वो अपना इन्फ्लुएंस दिखा हुआ होता है, अपने दम दिखा हुआ होता है, अपने कैपेबिलिटी को दिखाता है रैम में ही। तो रैम में जाएगा और फिर वहाँ पर अपना बदलेगा सोर्स कोड को वाइट कोड में। देन क्या करेगा, हाँ पाइथन वर्चुअल मशीन आएगा, वो क्या करेगा वाइट कोड बाइनरी में बदल के दे देगा सीपीयू को, और सीपीयू को चाहिए होता है 0 और 1। सो यही होता है, और फिर एग्जीक्यूट कर देता है बाइनरी में, बाइनरी को एग्जीक्यूट कर देता है, हेलो को ऑर्डर प्रिंट हो जाता है। इसलिए पहले वाली लाइन्स चल जाती हैं। पाइथन का एक्सटेंशन जो होता है वो होता है .py, एंड कन्वर्ट होती है जब बाइट कोड में तब हो जाती है। कैसे, .pyc कन्वर्जन कौन करता है, .pyc कन्वर्जन करता है इंटरप्रेटर, पाइथन इंटरप्रेटर। जब आप लिखते हो पाइथन टेस्ट वाई, पाइथन इंटरप्रेटर टेस्ट डॉट पी वाई को रीड करता है, उसको बाइट कोड में कन्वर्ट करता है, बाइट कोड को रैम में यूज करता है, बाइट कोड को रैम में यूज करता है, और कभी पाई कैचे में डॉट पी वाई सी फाइल बना देता है। और डॉट पाइथन .exe के इंटरप्रेटर होता है जो हार्ड डिस्क में प्रेजेंट रहता है, और इसको कन्वर्ट करता है सोर्स कोड को, जो सोर्स कोड होता है हार्ड डिस्क में, उसको कन्वर्ट करता है किसमें, उसको कन्वर्ट करता है बाइट कोड में। कहाँ पर, रैम में ही अपना काम दिखा पाता है। तो इंटरप्रेटर कहाँ होता है, लोकेशन। इंटरप्रेटर आपके कंप्यूटर में सॉफ्टवेयर के फॉर्म में इंस्टॉल होता है। जब आप पाइथन इंस्टॉल करते हो, पाइथन इंटरप्रेटर भी इंस्टॉल हो जाता है, वो फिजिकली हार्ड स्टोरेज में होता है, और रन टाइम पर रैम मेमोरी में काम करता है, और रन टाइम पर रैम मेमोरी में काम करता है। पाइथन इंस्टॉल करने के बाद इंटरप्रेटर कहाँ होता है, लोकेशन विंडोज वर्जन सी, वर्जन 39, python.exe। पाइथन इंटरप्रेटर वर्चुअली होता है या रियल, इंटरप्रेटर रियल होता है। ये कोई इमेजिनरी चीज़ नहीं है, ये एक एक्चुअल प्रोग्राम है। सी लैंग्वेज में लिखा होता है, सी पाइथन। ठीक है, सी लैंग्वेज में लिखा होता है सी पाइथन। जब आप लिखते हो पाइथन टेस्ट.py, तो ये इंटरप्रेटर रीड करता है, जो कि python.exe एक सॉफ्टवेयर है जो first are Python code written inside .py file is stored permanently on the hard disk. Then if we turn off the computer, the .py file does not get deleted. Next we have already a Python interpreter, which is a software program. This interpreter is stored on the hard disk, but when we run the program it works only in RAM. When we run the program .py file and load the code from the hard disk into RAM. The interpreter converts the Python code into bytecode. This bytecode extension has a .py. Bytecode is mainly created and used in a RAM. Sometimes saved it to hard disk inside Python further to make it run faster. After that, Python virtual machine (PVM) takes a white code and converts it into binary code. Binary with zero and white, and this is the only language that CPU understands. Binary instructions are permanently. Binary instructions are temporary; they are not saved as a file. And binary instructions are temporary; they are not saved as a file. The CPU executes this binary instruction, and finally we get the output hello world. And Python run without an ID. Yes, it can run using command prompt or terminal. What is dynamic type language? Dynamic type language it basically detects the data type automatically at a runtime. I didn't decide the data type at runtime, not before execution. I didn't decide the data type at a runtime, not before execution. Can a variable change its data type? Yes, variable change its data type. What is a keyword? A reserved word with special meaning if else for the a reserved word with special meaning if else for the can we use keyword as variable name? No. What is type function? Used to find the data type of a variable. Used to find the data type of a variable. What is a lecture? Fixed value written directly in code. What is a comment? A line that Python ignores. A line that Python ignores. How do you write multi-line comments using tripling code? What is a list? An ordered mutable collection. An ordered mutable collection of items. What is mutable? Mutable means changeable. List are mutable. What is immutable? Immutable means cannot be changed. String untuples are immutable. What is dictionary? A collection of key value pair. What happens if indentation is wrong? Throw an indentation error. Can Python code run line by line? Yes, Python execute code sequentially. What is none? None represents no value. What is input return type? Always return a string. How do you convert into input to integer while writing manually int? What is a module? What is a Python file containing a Python file containing function or a variable? A Python file containing function or variables. A Python file containing function or variable. What is the use of import? To use a code from another Python file. Uh, can a Python program have multiple modules? Yes. What is a function? A readable block of code. What is a built-in function? A function provided by the Python when input length, added length, return length of collection can or a variable scope where a variable can be accessible. What happens if a variable is used before declaration? Python throws a name here. What is the difference between print and return? Print shows output used for display. Return sends value back used inside function. So we have module two. Module two. What is a function? A function is a block of code that does a specific task and can be used again and again. Instead of writing the same code many times, we write once and reuse it. Font context. You saved a number once and call it many times. Same idea with function. We can syntax. We have a def function name, then code and def greet print hello world, hello welcome. Then you can calling the function, and when you call the function, the function which contains a code that you will able to see. Built-in function already provided by the Python. There are some built-in functions already provided. Types of function. First one is a built-in function. There are some of the built-in functions provided by the Python. Types of function. We have built-in function already provided by the Python. Print length type sum, print length byte sum. User-defined function. Function created by the programmer. Function created by the programmers. Add a b, return a plus b. Types of arguments. Arguments are values passed to a function. Arguments are values passed to a function. Positional arguments. Order matters. Def add print a plus b. Positional arguments. Order matters. Def add. Positional arguments. Order matters. Def add. Orders matters. There's a keyword argument for using name. Keyword argument for using name. Default argument have default value like name user. Hello name. Hello user. Variable length asks multiple values. Multiple values for def key value pairs. The argument for additional order matters. Keyword has a keyword for using argument for using name. Map function. Map applies a function to each item in a list. Filter selects elements based on conditions. Reduce reduce a list to one single value. Reduce a list to one single value. Reduce a list to single value. Reduces a list to one single value. Most important from function tools. Naming convention. Rules to name variable first over use lowercase use underscore calculate area total sum wrong. Import allows using code or using import. Import allows using code from another file or library. Import math documentation explains what the function does. What is function doing here? Like this function is adding two numbers. Python returns two numbers. Add is a function that adds two numbers. The doc string the certain instance of two numbers tells anyone reading the uh, the code what function does. Instead of documenting a short explanation of function purpose. Short explanation of the function purpose. Executing module as script. Meaning this is this and this. Let's see. Code runs only when file is executed directly. Okay. When code runs when file is executed directly, not when imported. बिल्कुल भाई सिंपल शब्द में समझते हैं कि ये क्या है नेम. तो हर हर पाइथन फाइल का एक नेम होता है. एवरी पाइथन file have a name. This is noun.